Hello and welcome to this introduction to ChatGPT. It's Miss Rose here with another short guide to a currently somewhat controversial information resource. This presentation without audio is on the school library's Instagram account at King's School Library, so you can save it in Instagram if you'd prefer. Let me start by saying that I'm not an expert, simply a librarian trying to keep abreast of current information sources. As with many of these things, as soon as you pin the thing down, a new iteration becomes available. So, disclaimer alert, for purposes of currency and accuracy, do keep in mind that this guide is being recorded in January 2023. But the following is my summary verdict on ChatGPT and why I don't think we need to be so worried about it in its current form. What is ChatGPT? Well, it's an artificial intelligence-driven chatbot created by OpenAI that can provide intelligent and coherent answers to a wide variety of questions. It can take a simple prompt and turn it into an in-depth essay or even a song or poem. It's by no means the first or only such chatbot out there, and no doubt it won't be the last, but it's currently free to use. It is gathering data from all its interactions after all, so it's all gone a bit viral of late. So how does it work? Details of its inner workings have not yet been published, but we do know that it's what we call a large language model. It trains itself using vast amounts of text data from the internet. It can generate human-like text, but may not always produce the sort of output that we humans would expect. Any of our pupils who've tried parser-based interactive fiction games in our library lessons will be well aware of the frustrating miscommunications when humans and computers attempt interactive conversations. ChatGPT uses human feedback to train itself to reduce these sorts of problematic outputs. And OpenAI say that it can answer follow-up questions, admit its mistakes, challenge incorrect premises, and reject inappropriate requests. What has got people worried? As a source of information, ChatGPT poses all sorts of issues related to credibility and ethics. Firstly, it's not a reliable information source. It may answer queries with scholarly prose, but it offers no guarantee of accuracy. At least with a Google search, you can scroll through the results and decide which source meets your need, and discard the ones that don't. ChatGPT works like the autocomplete function on your phone. If you ask it the same query 5 times, you'll get 5 different, often contradictory answers. ChatGPT also offers a serious opportunity for plagiarism. The main concern is that pupils could hand in ChatGPT-generated essays undetected, and teachers worry that a ChatGPT piece of work will be indistinguishable from something you would expect to see from a pupil. You can ask ChatGPT, write a 2,000-word essay on how the witches impact Macbeth, argue that Macbeth is a victim of his fate and his murder of Duncan was preordained. Create 7 business ideas that bring together the technologies of metaverse and artificial intelligence. Explain Newton's laws of motion. Google programmer Kenneth Goodman put ChatGPT to the test literally. It scored 70% on a bar exam for lawyers, 78% on New York State High School chemistry exam, and scored 149 at the LSAT. So should we be alarmed? My short answer would be no. Let me elaborate. When we talk about ChatGPT's threat to academia, we're mainly talking about essay-based learning. Do I think we need to be abandoning these kinds of assignments to avoid the issue of chatbot-generated submissions? No, not at all. And here's why. Firstly, you know your pupils. Essay-heavy subjects typically have relatively small, frequent classes. We get to know our pupils, and throughout lessons, we question, discuss, explore individual voices. We expect essay outlines, drafts, revisions, maybe even literature reviews. You know how your pupils write. You know what grade boundary they're most likely to sit within based on your classroom interactions with them. You know when a piece of work they've submitted doesn't quite match up with the kind of person that they are. Pupils have always used sources of information to inform their essays, whether it be encyclopedias, Wikipedia, or in the future, perhaps ChatGPT. The better pupils will use this information as a springboard for their own ideas. The pupils who are less confident typically rely too heavily on these information sources. But it's always been quite easy to spot when pupils are relying too heavily on information sources, good or bad, and portions of plagiarism stand out in these pupils' work. Now, the difficulty with ChatGPT comes with proving the plagiarism. With traditional plagiarism, you could easily reproduce the original source that had been plagiarised to demonstrate the offence. Not so with ChatGPT, because it produces original text that isn't stored in a publicly accessible place. There's no evidence tying the work to ChatGPT that you can use to prove its origin. Worried? Well, I'm here to tell you that you needn't be. ChatGPT has not been designed with academic integrity at its heart, unlike King's Pupils essays, obviously. And this is precisely why I don't believe we have anything to fear right now in terms of teaching and learning from ChatGPT. When we set work for pupils, we expect to see references to sources of information that they've used. Currently, ChatGPT will provide a fairly meagre bibliography, but not often from the kinds of sources you'd expect your pupils to be accessing, and no in-text citation or foot or endnotes, which should be a standard part of any essay submission. So, by examining their referencing, you'll be able to spot a ChatGPT submission versus a credible essay very quickly. And particularly when it comes to the higher level academic essays, it's important to remember that ChatGPT is simply regurgitating ideas that have already been published online, although it's worth noting that it doesn't trawl the internet post-2021, so it is working with a degree of lag already. But in terms of essay writing, unlike poetry for example, it produces no original ideas. Even at school level, we should be striving for pupils to engage with and respond to concepts, ideas and questions by developing original thoughts and arguments, rather than simply recalling an output of learned facts. So what are some of the negative impacts of ChatGPT? Well, ChatGPT is fast. It can type out a 2,000-word essay in under a minute, so it's much faster at compiling answers to questions than any human. It can flood the internet with opinions that stamp down and overwhelm other arguably more legitimate answers or comments from humans, creating large echo chambers of information, using influence and power to minoritise certain viewpoints and communities. So it has a big potential to shape social processes and facilitate discrimination and corruption among democracies. And don't forget the issue of bias. As with any AI, we now know that language models trained on biased data may reproduce that bias in their output, even when explicitly instructed not to do so. But are there any beneficial impacts? In time, ChatGPT may just be seen as the research equivalent of Grammarly, like an online encyclopedia demonstrating essay structure, writing style, and clarity of message. It could become a great tool for generating ideas, brainstorming, helping with writer's block, amplifying creativity by requiring pupils to steer away from simply recalling facts and pre-existing information in favour of generating more unique, creative and innovative outputs. Many institutions are beginning to experiment with ways to leverage the power of ChatGPT, and only time will tell if it represents a truly revolutionary moment culturally and technologically. I suspect the implications will be wide and varied, but for now, with academic integrity embedded at the heart of what we do, we really have nothing to fear from AI-driven chatbots threatening the trust and credibility of the academic community, compromising assessment, or undermining the education system. I hope I've allayed any concerns about ChatGPT. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you're joining us via the socials, feel free to comment below. And as ever, hit like or subscribe if you want to learn more.